Okay, guys, we're here with the new organized play announcement from Magic Esports they've made today, July 14th. It's an announcement that tells you basically what's going to be happening with all the new Pro Tours and the season finals and all this other random garbage, and I'm going to work my way through it to show you guys exactly what's changed and what you actually need to worry about. So, we're going to start with, this is just some random garbage. They basically say you can play Arena on PC, it doesn't really matter. So while the global pandemic has closed off traditional pathways for competitive tabletop Magic, we're going to do it all online, essentially, is what they're saying. So everything's going to online until they can actually, do tabletop play in a reasonable manner that doesn't get everyone COVID and everyone dies. Let's try to not have that happen. So how's it going to work? So we got what's called the Zendikar Rising Split. We've got the qualifier on Arena. Ranked play, you get to play on that. You've got the Zendikar Rising qualifier in October. You get a ranked play for that in September. And same thing in November. You get to play multiple qualifier weekends now instead of just one qualifier weekend on Arena. Instead of having to go 10-1, they've changed the structure. So now the structure is you've got a couple different times to qualify, I believe. And the way that you do it is you qualify through a 2-day system. The way that you do it is you either play to 7 wins on day 1 or 3 losses, qualify for day 2. Day 2, you play to 7 wins or 2 losses, and then if you get those 7 wins, you qualify for like the mythic whatever thing, the big Pro Tour, the Arena Pro Tour, basically. So that happens, and you get a bunch of prizes like gems or gold or whatever that essentially don't matter. But essentially, all that you need to know about the new qualifier system is instead of 10 wins or 2 losses. Now it's a 2-day system, 7 wins or 3 losses. Day 2, 7 wins, 2 losses. They also added something important where instead of having to grind out ranks and stuff to qualify for this, you can also qualify for it by doing, if you make day 2 of a previous event, then you get to auto-make day 1, I believe, is what it says. Qualifications. Top 1200, finish with at least 5 match points of the previous day 2 of the Arena Open. Finish with 6 match points on day 1 of the previous month's qualifier weekend. So, you make 6 wins on the previous one, you get to go again. You make 5 wins on day 2, you get to go again. You got mythic points. You did well in a Pro Tour Finals, or PT Online. An additional qualifier week. They basically get to also add some more things, how you qualify for the weekend. But those are the main ways, Top 1200 or do well in the qualifier in the previous month. You can qualify again to play in the qualifier. Now, there's something they call the Zendikar Rising Split, the championship. So basically, MPL, Rivals, most of the people that are those things, don't give a shit about me actually talking about this. They know themselves. But then we've got the 7 wins from the Arena Day 2 that we were talking about, the Open. Invites you get from the Super Qualifiers or MTGO PTQs, which they're coming back to Magic Online. We get PTQs and Super Qualifiers again. Sadly, once again, we're qualifying for an Arena event, not an actual real Pro Tour, like in paper or a MTGO big event like that. But, we'll take what we can get at this point. And then there's also players who did well in the PT Finals or Mythic Invitationals or something like that. So basically, in the old system, if you won 11-5 at a Pro Tour, you qualified for the next Pro Tour. Same thing here, except for it's 10-5. You qualify again for the next Pro Tour. So, this is the next Pro Tour that you can qualify for, and this is how you're qualifying for it. It's going to be on Arena, Direct Challenge, 250k prize pool, and then you can re-qualify for the next Split Championship, which is, I guess, the Pro Tour now, is what they're calling it. 30 match points or more. That's the way to do it. Qualifications, as we said, 7 match wins through the qualifier weekend. You top 2 a super qualifier, win a PTQ. You top 8 a showcase, or the 8 players that won their showcase qualifiers from the MOX event. So instead of qualifying for a real PT, now you just qualify for this PT, which is the same thing that they did for the last MOX events. And if you do well in the finals or just the Mythic Invitationals or so on and so forth. So essentially the same ways you qualified, get to a certain win mark in a big event, a Pro Tour event, and then you qualify for the next Pro Tour. So, they're saying it's we're going to do some tabletop play at some point. We don't exactly know when. And we're still working out kinks of the system because, COVID kind of upended our previous system. And we kind of had to play it by ear and just, figure out things on the fly. And now they have a second second article, I believe this is the second article, where they kind of say how the MPL works. Now, the MPL works a little bit differently. For most people, this does not matter. Essentially, your chances of getting to the MPL are slim to none, and this article once again confirms that. So, the way that you stay in the MPL, the way that the MPL works, there's 24 people in the MPL, there's 48 people in Rivals. As they did in the previous MPL, they're going to have those weekends where they like play Swiss, and like against each other, only against each other, and like if you do well, you get some points, and the point calculation kind of is all over the place. We don't exactly know how the points work exactly. There's like you get points from the in league play is how they call it, and you get points from like the Pro Tour and the Pro Tour finals, but I'm not exactly sure how much you get from those, as they didn't quite say. And they're going to be playing the season, like what they call the seasons. It's six rounds of Swiss between like the MPL players and like between the Rivals players. They play against each other. You get like a point per win. And if you have a lot of points, then you get to qualify for some other things, which we'll show on further down. But essentially, all of this doesn't matter to the regular player. It's like they're going to show some shitty arena games on some weekends while you have to play qualifiers too, so most people won't really care about it. So, let's move on to how you actually get into the MPL and into Rivals League. Basically, to get into MPL for most people, you have to be in Rivals, or you have to just stomp organized play. Like, you have to be basically winning everything. Every big tournament you do, you have to be crushing. You have to be in the top 12. I believe it's the top 12 players that it has here. So it's ranked 5 through 12, going to the MPL Gauntlet, whatever this is. Which is actually never mind. Let's I do actually know what this is, so I'm going to explain a bit more. The MPL Gauntlet it has people that did well in the MPL, has people that did well in the Rivals League, has people, and they play against each other, and the top 4 finishers from there go to the MPL, and the bottom 16 go to Rivals. Actually, wait, it says top 4 plus 4 highest finishing Rivals. Oh, so also if you're a top 4 finishing rival, then you also go to the MPL. So 16 people out of the MPL drop out of the MPL every year. And the top 8 get to stay, and they also qualify for Worlds. This is probably a little bit hard explanation. I'm probably not doing it as best as I could, but I'm just giving you the rough and tumble through here. So, there's a lot. It's basically a lot of like mumbo jumbo on how to actually get through it. It's a lot of different like if you're like 5 through 12, you play like this gauntlet thing, which we haven't exactly revealed how the gauntlet works. And if you're like 16th through 24th, you go here and you go there. It's all a little bit confusing, but hopefully it's given you a little bit more of explanation. Now I'm being asked, what is a challenger? A challenger is a person who's not in the MPL, not in the Rivals. Everyone who's not in the MPL or Rivals, challenger. Nameless, rando. We don't know who you are, essentially. But, so now to get into Rivals, here's how we do it. The bottom 12 ranked, this is the... Wait, what the hell is this? I didn't even see this before. So apparently if you were in the top 5 through 12, you play in the MPL Gauntlet, you get to go to the MPL or the Rivals League. Essentially this is the same thing, except for you also go to the MPL or the Rivals League, except for you're playing against challengers instead of MPL players. So it actually seems to be better to be ranked 21st through 32nd than to be ranked 5th through 20th. You're actually playing against theoretically worse competition if we're expecting the MPL to be the top of competition and the Rivals to be the next echelon and then challengers to be worse. So, you're playing the 12 challengers with the 4 highest finishers from each split championships. Oh, so if you top 4 a split championship, it seems, then you are going to get into Rivals, guaranteed. 4 highest finishers from each split championship. Unless we're considering how some points you get from the qualifier as well as the split championships. But it seems you top 4 a championship, or now the Pro Tour, you're into the Rivals League through the Rivals Gauntlet, guaranteed, with a chance to make the MPL. It seems from this, with the playing against the other Rivals Leagues as well as the other challengers. So if you top 4 the next championship of the Pro Tour, then you make Rivals, guaranteed, with the chance to make MPL. Now let's look. The Rivals Gauntlet. The 4 highest finishing challengers, 12 players in total from each split championship. Like the MPL Gauntlet, we'll share more about the structures, yes. Top 2, the winner and finalists qualify for the World Championship. So if you top 2 the Rivals Gauntlet, then you go to Worlds as well. So it seems strictly better, almost, to just be worse off in the Rivals League theoretically, than to be better off, unless you're in the top 4. So this is some weird incentivization structure. It may create like some weird spots where people purposely try to throw their matches. I don't know if we'll see that, but it will come to see. All their players will be invited to the Rivals League for the following season. So the way to get invited is being a top 12 challenger. So you need to top. So if you top 4 a split, then you're guaranteed into Rivals. That's literally the only way you can get to Rivals, it seems, from what I'm seeing from here. So the Magic Pro League has top 4 from MPL Gauntlet, top 4 from Rivals Gauntlet, top 4 from Rivals League Season, top 4 from MPL. So not even the top 8, just the top 4 from MPL. The 4 highest finishing Rivals from MPL. What is this asterisk? Outside of top 4. So the 4 highest. So if you don't make the Gauntlet, if someone else, like, if you're a challenger or a rival, theoretically you're like rooting against certain people and you can get like lucky into MPL if like a certain rival does better than you or a certain rival does worse than you. So like it's kind of like a tiebreaker scrum to see if you get to like play Magic as your career for a year, it seems like here, which is kind of weird depending on how the Gauntlet actually works or if it's a double elimination type style. So that's kind of interesting. You know, there'll be some sick sweats to see for people's livelihoods. That just seems perfect. Exactly what Wizards was fishing for. I didn't even realize this. I thought I read the whole thing, but now I just realized that you're literally running tiebreakers to decide who is going to be able to play Magic for a career. So that just seems all fine and dandy. Now let's look at the Rivals League. How are we deciding these? 16 players relegated from MPL basically down. 16 players relegated from Rivals down. 13th through 24th in MPL. So you don't even get a chance. You don't even get a chance to go back to MPL, it seems. If you're 13th through 24th, you're just straight dunzo, you're going to Rivals. Screw off. And then the rank 33rd through 36th is this weird clump where you don't drop from Rivals, but you don't get anything from Rivals. And it seems like if you're the bottom of Rivals, the bottom 25%, 37th through 48th, you're just dropped out of Rivals no matter what. You're out of there. You got in, you got out. So this seems like not a great system, but if you're not in the bottom 25%, you're kind of guaranteed to stay in Rivals, and you've got a good chance to have like a run at making MPL. Basically, as long as you're not dead last, then you've got a good chance to stay in and, you know, make something at least from Rivals, or play another tournament, try and get back into MPL. You know, it's not that bad. So if you can run hotter than the sun, top 4 PT, or however they're running the point systems. It seems like it's just the PTs or the PT finals. Then you get your auto Rivals. And then once you get in, it's pretty hard to get out, it seems like. So if you can get yourself into the system, you kind of got it cushy as long as you're not straight dead last. As long as you don't slack off a little bit too much, you know, you're in. You know, you slack off a little bit or have a bad season, try to top 4 a PT again. Scrub-a-dub. So hopefully whatever I've told you is giving you more insight onto how the Rivals League and the MPL and Pro Tours and how to qualify, do all these things is moving forward. And yeah, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.